Health and social care organizations require finance to deliver services, pay staff, maintain facilities, and invest in equipment and training. Understanding the sources of finance helps managers plan budgets effectively and ensure the organization remains sustainable and capable of providing high-quality care.
These are funds generated within the organization. Retained income or surplus involves money saved from previous years or operating surpluses reinvested into the organization. Revenue from services is income generated from service charges or fees paid by service users or insurance providers. Cost savings come from money saved through efficiency measures or reducing wastage. Example: switching to energy-efficient equipment to reduce utility costs. Government funding or grants are provided by local authorities, NHS trusts, or central government. These are funds obtained from outside the organization. Loans or bank finance involve borrowed funds to be repaid with interest. Charitable donations or fundraising come from voluntary contributions from individuals, charities, or community fundraising. Private investors or partnerships involve investment from private organizations or partnerships for profit or joint ventures. Leasing or hire purchase involves acquiring equipment or facilities through leasing agreements instead of upfront purchase. Cost of finance includes loans and hire purchases, which may involve interest payments. The purpose of finance considers short-term needs like paying staff versus long-term investments like building expansion. Risk involves borrowing or external investments, which may carry financial risk. Availability notes that some sources may not be accessible to smaller organizations. Sources of finance for health and social care organizations include internal sources like retained income, revenue from services, and cost savings. External sources include government funding, loans, charitable donations, private investors, and leasing. Understanding and accessing the right sources of finance ensures that health and social care organizations can deliver high-quality services, invest in resources, and remain financially sustainable. Health and social care organizations have both short-term and long-term financial needs. Understanding the difference helps managers plan budgets, manage resources, and ensure sustainability. Short-term finance supports day-to-day operations, while long-term finance supports strategic goals and major investments. Funds are required to cover immediate or day-to-day operational costs, usually within a year. Examples in health and social care include payroll costs for salaries and wages. Utilities and rent cover electricity, water, heating, and building costs. Medical supplies and consumables include bandages, gloves, cleaning materials, and medicines. Short-term maintenance involves repairs to equipment or facilities. Quick access is required to maintain service continuity, typically smaller amounts than long-term finance, usually financed through internal funds, short-term loans, or revenue from services. Funds are required for major investments or strategic projects that benefit the organization over several years. Examples include building or facility expansion, medical equipment purchase, technology and its systems, and staff development and leadership programs. Usually larger amounts of money. Return on investment is realized over several years, often financed through long-term loans, grants, or external investors. Short-term finance focuses on day-to-day operational costs, while long-term finance is for major investments and strategic projects. Short-term finance is needed for less than a year, while long-term finance spans several years. Short-term finance involves smaller amounts, while long-term finance involves larger sums. Immediate service continuity is the impact of short-term finance, while long-term finance leads to service improvement and growth. Short-term finance needs in health and social care focus on daily operations like salaries, utilities, consumables, and minor maintenance. Long-term finance needs focus on strategic investments like building expansion, medical equipment, its systems, and professional development. Differentiating between short-term and long-term finance helps organizations plan resources efficiently, maintain operations, and invest in sustainable services. Health and social care organizations require finance to deliver services, maintain facilities, pay staff, and invest in equipment or development. Understanding the sources of finance allows managers to choose the most suitable option for short-term needs, long-term investments, and sustainable service delivery. Funds are generated within the organization. Retained income or surplus involves profits or surpluses from previous years reinvested. Revenue from services includes income from fees, client payments, or private healthcare services. Cost savings are achieved through efficiency or reducing wastage. Funds are obtained from outside the organization. Government funding or grants are provided by local authorities, NHS trusts, or central government, often tied to specific programs. Loans or bank finance involve borrowed funds to be repaid with interest. Charitable donations or fundraising come from voluntary contributions from individuals, charities, or fundraising events. Private investors or partnerships involve investment from private organizations or joint ventures. Leasing or hire purchase involves acquiring equipment or facilities via leasing agreements instead of outright purchase. Purpose involves short-term versus long-term needs. Cost includes interest payments on loans or hire purchase. Risk involves borrowing or external investment, which may carry financial obligations. Availability notes that some sources may be limited or competitive. Flexibility indicates that some sources offer more control over usage than others. Sources of finance in health and social care organizations include internal sources like retained income, revenue from services, and cost savings. External sources include government funding, loans, charitable donations, private investors, and leasing. Understanding the different sources of finance allows organizations to fund day-to-day operations, invest in long-term projects, and deliver high-quality, sustainable services. Retained income or surplus implies no interest or repayment obligations and gives flexibility for reinvestment. However, it has limited availability, and using too much may reduce reserves for emergencies. Revenue from services provides a reliable income stream, but may fluctuate based on demand. Cost savings encourage efficiency but may require initial investment. Government funding or grants are often substantial and may not require repayment, but are usually tied to strict conditions. Loans provide large sums for major investments, but must be repaid with interest. Charitable donations enhance community involvement, but are unpredictable. Private investors provide significant capital, but may involve sharing control. Leasing spreads costs over time, but may be more expensive long-term. Internal finance is flexible with no interest, but reserves are limited. Revenue from services is directly linked to delivery but may fluctuate. Cost savings encourage efficiency but need initial investment. External finance, like government funding, is large and conditional. Loans increase obligations, donations are supportive but unpredictable, and leasing is immediate but costly.
In conclusion, this ensures high-quality care and financial stability for the future. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, please contact us via WhatsApp 0748 436 1688.